Whoa, it's Wulzy. Welcome back to another... Hold on, let me just check my notes. Level requests. Level requests? What's that? I'm doing level requests? Yo? Dude, level requests are crazy. I remember back for like a year straight, I had this series running in the background of my channel where you could send me your levels. I know, it sounds wild. I've got a Discord server with a Google form linked inside it. You can see that in the description down below. You could send me your Geometry Dash level. Isn't that crazy? I haven't done one of these in so long. False LF Fedge by USCN. You guys always give me the craziest level names. Come to think of it, I think I actually paused the series just because I was too frustrated from not being able to read. Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. It's using the song Never Decaf by Winter89. Ooh. Love the colors used immediately. Perfect usage of blending right here. I love the fact that the blocks are popping out. It's a little bit difficult for me to see what the ground is because I'm put off by the fact that there's ground spikes just lining the entire ground. I would prefer some sort of line, and the spikes aren't made too clear to like pop out in front of that, in my opinion. Yeah, you see, that looks like a block to me. But I'm also silly, so don't take my opinion too seriously. Ooh, okay. I like the usage of the black at the bottom to kind of blur that line between ground and the kind of color in the level. I also like the fact that there's just one abstract design at the top of the level that you're just committing to right there. That's certainly an interesting look. However, this gradient in the foreground is getting pretty repetitive, and the background there too. Okay, now you've removed the background and not the gradient. Like, we're almost there. We're getting places. Am I seeing neo-design influence from, like, Overdefo, Liriaki, the kind of spike structures? You got some structures that kind of wrap down in the snake shape. You got Black Orb gameplay. I'm kind of seeing it. I do really like this idea of having the ground, then the middle, and then the ceiling, but maybe there could be a little bit more detail to link them together, like in between the structures and stuff, perhaps, because it's like you've got three different color schemes at once, right? Not so much in the beginning because the top is the same as the bottom, which kind of makes it feel like you're just driving forward. You're in a tunnel, you're just going at it. Then the ball gets a little bit more spicy. I like that. Imagine you had some sort of swinging objects from the ceiling. Like, you got to make it link together, in my opinion, but that's definitely a solid start for this level. I really like the fact that it's pretty fast all the way through and the gameplay is spaced out, so there's periods where you're not doing anything. It's like you're shooting forwards. Claw Peels by Drip W. Interesting. I'll be the judge of whether this is a W or an L. Sleepwalk by Nelwood. Very bold song choice. I like that. Ooh. Nice colors immediately, dude. I like the contrast of the black and the outline right there. Okay, I really like those rotating background objects, even if they don't form any sort of shape. I do kind of like the distortion in it. I know it's not a real distortion effect, but, you know, the kind of non-defined shape it makes is cool. The designs are kind of wacky. The colors have a lot of contrast in them, and as a result, I find them kind of hit or miss because it literally just depends on the block choices, whether they work. Ooh! That was cool saying. I think this spider structure is a little bit weird because it appears that I have much more time than I do, and it was only until I actually died to that spike that I realized, hey, this jump pad is slightly to the left of the edge of the bottom block, because very typically you'll just go to the end of the block and then you'll have to move, right? I would also say try not to repeat the same ground spike over and over again like that, where you can see the edges. You could definitely add more spikes to it and kind of hide the fact that you're copy pasting. Unless it's meant to be like that, I'm not sure. I just personally think it looks weird. What the heck? Yo, I saw my name, thank you. Interesting level. There's a lot that you've went for. I do think some of it's worked and I think some of it hasn't. The background has some objects that are pretty similar in its color, right? And then the rest of the decoration is completely black, which looks weird. It looks really good in this ball for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think I'm just a sucker for overlapping objects, but I do think that this design goes unreasonably hard. Well, I say unreasonably, like, you know, it literally is just a bunch of squares, but it goes hard, right? Unexpectedly, I should say, not unreasonably. That's mean. Let me pause here. This ball pot's probably my favorite part in the whole thing, apart from maybe this glow. Let me introduce you to the world of blending, my friend. Background, blending. I think this goes significantly harder when you have blending turned on the color channel personally, just because of how nice and bright and eye-catching this actually goes. And also this design is just wacky. I would potentially say maybe have some sort of change for channel number 17. Just check out how it looks with different colors, and you know, you've went from black based design to very bright green, and you can probably get away with changing it to copy the color of the background with more brightness or something as like a pulse. You see, there's so many different options for you to go for rather than the green. But again, that's just my opinion, and it may be the block choice that's holding you back as well. The green could work. You know, it looks pretty good on these top objects. Just not too sure about the bricks here. I would maybe copy the values of the base blocks and get some wavy objects. Maybe put them on B1 and just kind of place them at different points here and there. So these lines have a bit of variation in the way that they cut off. That's with the curves and that's without, you know. But other than that, you've got some good ideas. I liked what you did with the background here. And again, some of the color choices make the blocks pop out so much against the background. I do think that was a drip W though. I definitely enjoyed that level. The final breakdown by Craft Mango 07. Oh, hell yeah. We love our white mask, don't we? Oh, this is neat. I actually really like the block transitions here. That goes harder than the wave for sure. I think this background is much more suited to a ship part rather than a wave. We've got the same couple of wave objects over and over again, but the ship, oh god, that was so flashy. It definitely worked better when you were mixing up the display, but that's a pretty cool effect. What I would possibly do though, oh, you got hundreds of objects here. That's fine though. Number 10. Number 10, I'm going to just set you up with a rotation, just to see what happens. Every object's going around itself. It's its own center. Let me see what we got here. What does it look like if we add a little bit of sauce to that background and make it move a little bit? Yeah, you see, just with one single rotation, you can make those circles appear to shrink and grow in size right there. You see, it makes it a little bit more interesting when the whole thing rotates. I do love a little bit of affecting. Concept by Urkilo using Think About It. Is this the Mario Judah sample song? Ooh, this looks like Neo design. I am here for it. Invisible blocks. That's a common trope. I like how the saws rotate in time with the music. That's a really nice touch. And it's very obvious here because of how bright the red is. This is flames. I like this immediately. I love how the objects are moving separately from one another and they have their own little rhythm that you can predict. That's a sick way to incorporate a black orb into the design as well. This guy knows what he's doing for sure. The simple touches are the nicest in levels when you've got like the bigger picture going. You're not worrying about each individual small detail. You're just worrying about, hey, how can I make this all work? And that's exactly what this creator has done best, I think. They've got their color scheme figured out and they just stick to it, you know? They stick to their guns. It's a safe choice in the long run, but I think it works out. It's a safe choice in order to make the... Oh my god, that's so cool. Wow. They have their transitions like almost perfect too. Some pulses and subtle changes to the color to like make it a bit more uplifting would be nicer, but I love the fact that you're just committing to this whole visual style. And you've kind of got the over defo influence here with the black orbs and the portals. You've got the borders at the bottom. The thick line is so cool looking. It makes this feel so much more enclosed just because of the bright color at the bottom. It's really imposed on me. That's sick. I really enjoyed that level. I'm gonna feature send that. I think that's a 9-star. Another thing I really love is how you've used custom assets to bring the whole level together. Like this little weave you've got all the way around. It may be pretty object intensive, like that's just 278 objects in one sweep right there, but it definitely does your level a favor. This wave part especially is where the colors could have went harder. Like there's no pulses at all. Just movements. Let me just see what I can do real quick. I'm interested. Okay, we have the red objects, which are color channel number 4. I'm going to put that in the pulse trigger. I'm going to put a 0.2 fade time and a 0.6, I'm going to say. They can go to black. Then these black lines are going to go to the red that the level posed earlier. And then maybe the background can also go to black. I think you could definitely find a better pattern, but you know what I mean. Also, my bad. I didn't realize that this kept flickering the whole way through. That makes sense. Would probably be effective too if you stopped that flicker at times then to intensify it and make the sync a lot more effective. Moving on to Only by Sketchical using Translucence by Laps, my favorite Newground artist. We shall see what happens here. Interesting background. I like the electricity immediately. This is vibey. I'm not sure about the huge scaled up saws, but you know, we got the moving portals. Yeah, this is very repetitive, but I have a feeling that this is a low object challenge, judging by the display I've got right here. Not too much of a fan of those mirror portals, by the way, but yeah, this seems to be one of those challenges that's a low object, and I respect it. I think it serves its purpose pretty well. It's functional, right? These saws are probably just repeating themselves, but hey, it's a cool level. I noticed the fact that you've used text objects for that background, made in 2 hours. That's also impressive. 100 objects, I was correct. Bada bing, bada boom. As impressive as it is, I'm not gonna send it just because of how linear and one-track minded it is, because I gotta keep my standards the same across all the levels in GD. That's the way I like to do things. I'm not gonna make an exception just because a level was built in the challenge limitations, right? Moving on to Toboggan by Salami 7 using Circus Contraption Wicked Fascinations. Is this the Crazy 3 song? Let's take a look. I am a fan of this level name and the creator name as well, Salami 7. Very appealing. I do enjoy that. This is interesting. I'm noticing the use of animated objects here. Very cool. You got custom rotations for some swords. You got the eyes looking at you. Yeah, I really like the attention to detail here, even if the design is very simple and, you know, boxed up. I can vibe with this. The background's cool too. We got some particles moving there. Yikes, I suck at robot. Oh, wow. Okay, that looks so cool. I love the fact that you've incorporated that rotating design. That's sick! Wow, I'm very impressed with how well you've managed to incorporate that into the level. Is this... Huh. No. Don't take this as it is. Wait for my normal mode run. I know what's happened. Somewhere in the level, there is a speed changer unticked. Okay, I do wish that these blocks were a little less repetitive towards the end, but just give this level a chance, okay? The music sync is not totally dead. That speed changer is basically tricking the editor to thinking this level is longer, and it messes up the practice mode sync. I'm willing to send this for a rate only, because I think it has some really nice ideas, and I really like how it's been put together. I suck. Aha! Found you. That's what's breaking the sync. Okay, this level is 53 seconds long, and there's a couple things I want to point out. Okay, yeah, the outlines. I mean, did you use squares? You did use squares. Interesting. I think for the outline, you definitely could have used a different type of object. These should be fine. Now, hold up. What I do is I use them on scale 2 times. Yeah, that's much better. I would personally just make a separate outline. Because, fella, to me, it was pretty noticeable how patchy the outline on the circle was. Even though I think it's a sick idea. Definitely my favorite idea in the whole level. You see the difference between these outlines as opposed to these rougher outlines. But you've definitely got a good start with this. I'm probably going to send it for a rate only. Because I was pretty impressed with how this whole thing panned out. Like, this is impressive, right? I would just say in future, try not to reuse designs and try to trick people into thinking this is long length, because it does mess up the practice mode experience for sure. Alrighty, recovery by the Team Eclipse using memory by Hyperdemented, aka Creo. Alright, let's just hop into this. I am seeing an intro transition already. Yep, interesting. I love the glow usage here. Right off the bat, blending, perfect. And I love the text that's floating down there. Such an interesting way to introduce the level. Wow, I felt like I just flew right through that structure, but it's fine. I'll let it slide. I'm very intrigued by the way this level is set out with the waves at the bottom. Wow, this looks good. Goodness gracious. That color scheme was so beautiful. Seems like this level's going where it wants to, but I'm gonna let it because I've been impressed every time so far. We're going through the factory. We're rising up. We got the hands. This caught me off guard, but as soon as my eyes adjusted to the different colors, it made a little bit more sense in my mind. Yeah, there's a lack of contrast here and there with the objects in the background, so I'm finding it a little bit difficult to see what's going on, but there's some really good ideas in this level for sure. Okay, yeah, it gets a little bit messy at times when different layers are overlapping with themselves and there's no glow behind or there's no layer behind to make it a little bit more seamless. Wow, dude, I love the speed, the sheer energy that those arrows have. This level definitely needs to follow a more consistent theme with the decoration, but I am loving the heavenly look that this has at times with the bright white glow. It's a little bit difficult to follow though, like what is that robot jump? Why didn't I make that? I jumped full pelt, right? So I'm just left a little bit confused at times and it feels slightly haphazardly put together. I'm a fan of how those blocks slide into place like that with toggle trigger effects. And the wave that appears in the beginning and the ending, this has potential for sure. Definitely needs a lot of polish in the colors used at times, the layering, the depth in it. Oh wow, we got a whole end screen for this. This is definitely impressive. I gotta run back through that just to give my proper thoughts on it. This part was very vibey and I was expecting the rest of the level to follow this kind of nighttime vibe. Switches to this like underground section really abruptly. I don't know what happened there. And I just wish there was more clarity in some of the objects. And for the reason that it feels a little bit unorganized and some of it plays weirdly, I'm probably not going to send this for a featured rating. Even if it's more technically advanced than some of the other stuff that I've played today, it just does feel a little bit unpolished, right? But it definitely plays as a functional level and it does make me smile. So I gotta give the credit where it's due, man. Boom. There is your demon rating suggestion. The current moderation system, I will say, is that we take this level and we place it into a Discord channel where moderators vote on whether it should be rated demon or not. Don't worry, I'm not leaking mod chat. I'm not doing anything malicious. Viprin himself announced it. I'll link the tweet in the description down below. I just thought I'd shed some light on how the demon system actually works because there's a lot of people that don't know that the rating button isn't really the way that it works anymore for demons. A mod sees a demon they really like, they put it in the channel, the team votes, it gets its verdict, and if the magic happens, the magic happens. I just unlocked a ball! Let's go. Perfect way to end. Thank you so much for watching this Geometry Dash level request video. Check the links in the description, leave a like and subscribe, and have a good day.